They said at least 3 months. Okay, that if you do the math is depending on how you look at it is 12 weeks, right? The thing about months are though that there's more than 4 weeks in a month, which is totally fucked up. And I look at this and I'm like, if he comes back in December, where do they have to be to make the playoffs? Like, how many wins is it going to take? When Browning has played before, he's played in 2023 late in the season. Hey, they're going to play the Vikings. He beat the Vikings at home, right? In overtimes, threw a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He's had his moments. But what if I told you I have a take, more of a second opinion? What if I told you you could still have Joe on Sunday? What would you say? Trade for Joe Flacco. Trade for Joe Flacco. He has not been part of the solution necessarily in Cleveland. There is no solution in Cleveland. The solution
I got a solution.
The solution in Cleveland is to accrue draft capital. Kirk Cousins was staring longingly last night at the Vikings sideline, like, if I was here, you know. And there's Jimmy G, sure. But I just can't. I can't get the Joe Flacco playing catch with Amari Cooper out of my head from a couple years ago. He's the ageless wonder, and you know, like I don't know if they feel confident enough in their head coach to be like, let's throw more draft capital at Zach Taylor, but I think it's more about like Joe's window. And if you want to be sitting there in January somehow with like a guy who could be the face of the league, watching football in the same place I'm watching football on the fucking couch, then by all means, you know, roll Browning out. And I know he's experienced and everything, and I'm going to pull for him. But I think the Bengals I saw last night score 20 points a game in the starts that Joe's not out there. So, like, you have to find a way. And if Browning's going to play, brother, I know you sit next to Joe Burrow in meetings every day and watch him do things, but, like, the rules for he are not for thee, my brother in Christ. You cannot try to make Joe Burrow plays. Avoid the middle of the field if you can. You know, use the sideline when you're taking shots. You know, a little bit more quick game. Get the run game going, screen game. But for fuck's sake, he can't turn the ball over like he did yesterday. That almost single-handedly lost him the game. I think there's a way, but it doesn't look pretty. Look at their next month. Look at next month. The next month, their schedule, I think they have the Lions. You mentioned Minnesota, which becomes a little bit more of a softer landing spot for Jake
Vikings, Broncos, Lions, Packers, Steelers.
Oh, so they got 2 layups the next couple games.
Who are the layups?
I mean, the Vikings with who's their next quarterback?
Carson Wentz.
Oh, so maybe.
Dude, that's a fucking upgrade at this point for the Vikes.
Yeah, probably. I was just about to say Kevin O'Connell is gonna have that Wolverine meme of him looking at Sam Darnold's picture, like, dang.
Yeah, no, I know, which is crazy because I don't think that though. I think it's early. You know, I think Carson's gonna have some super vintage Carson plays this weekend, which are like. But
I'm just saying, as a coach,
he's going to shrug off 3 rushers and then just like throw the ball 15 yards down the field into traffic. But back to the Bengals. When Joe Burrow comes back, there needs to be a heart-to-heart about this, because when he was in the game early, like, I know offensive lines in the NFL aren't perfect. Not everybody has an Eagles offensive line. And by the way, going back to the Eagles, the guard play right now makes me a little bit nervous, just to say that. Like, Dickerson maybe a little bit dinged. Steen, you know, he's fine. But when we look at the Bengals offensive line, Ford was in the game. He was getting abused a little bit. You know, P. Ryan missed a blitz pickup. Risner gave up the sack that hurt Joe Burrow. This has been a long-standing tradition there. And I think part of it is this. They love to spread it out and go 5 wide. They like getting people out in the route. There has to be a come to Jesus moment where it's like, hey, Joe, I know you love going for the jugular every play, but your time to throw has got to come down a little bit, and you have to embrace, like, hey, we might keep a tight end in the protection. We might max up and take shots a little bit more, because he's going to get killed back there trying to play hero ball. You look at, Burrow has not played behind an offensive line that didn't rank in the bottom quartile, which is a great word. The highest ranked offensive line that they've had has been 2023, 27th in the league.
Insane.
It's malpractice. And I know that like after the Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase thing, everybody was like, ooh, whoop-de-doo. Who needs a fucking offensive tackle? It fucking matters. And I worry about Joe and his entire career because this is a Hall of Famer and, you know, like you only get one window in your prime. It sucks. It sucks for football, man. Like
turf toe sucks.
Even if you hate Joe Burrow, like, and there are people out there that are like, he's not that good. I'm like, all right, what's good then? Be serious. This dude is now, the injuries are piling up like Andrew Luck. Like it's not quite the same, but you really are at risk of like burning the guy out. And you know, like we got talking about it last night. Turf toe, Bo. You've had turf toe. I want to hear you talk about it. But you know, I had ligament issues in my toe, and I've got a big knuckle on my toe that like it builds over time, and it takes away your flexion, and it changes the way you run. It changes the way you squat. It changes at 40 years old. My entire right leg operates differently because of the toe injury.
Wow.
And so, and that's true for any injury. You know, when a guy returns to play, you know, it's he's good, he's healthy, but something changes when you rehab. Every time you get a surgery, every time you rehab, every time you have an injury or play through it, something not biometrics, that's like your heartbeat. Something changes on you from a physiological chain standpoint, right? And so for Joe Burrow, like these things keep piling up. Forget like this year, how many of these can he take? And I think it also from a mental standpoint for the Bengals and for Bengals fans, like there were 70,000 people decked out in orange yesterday, and they were like, it was fucking Halloween, dude. I saw, you said creatures. They got some creatures in that stadium. And they were like, we're 1-0 in September. Here we go. If we can win this game, it'll all feel better. Well, this was the one situation that could have rained on that parade. Bo, what did it feel like to have turf toe?
Dude, it was terrible. And I'm not like Dr. Anderson or whomever. And I wasn't a quarterback either, obviously, but like just you're so limited from an explosive, like you can't push off of that foot the same way. And I think it's his right foot, right? You correct me if I'm wrong, but like I just worry about him trying to plant off that back foot and deliver a ball. It's one of those injuries that like even if you have it surgically operated on, it's one of those lingering injuries, like you said, Chris, that you just deal with for a long time. Like I feel for him, man. And then, you know, just watching him walk off the sideline so slowly, like no cart. Heard some rumors that the Bengals don't even have a cart or whatever. That's my worst seat is just watching Joe Burrow limp off the field there being carried into the locker room by the athletic trainers. It was the worst seat. Feel for Joe Burrow. It sucks for him, and that injury is fucking boring.
So there's a lot going on here. Number one, I want to apologize to the nation for getting Fox News last night. I like a boomer. I took the cheese on the Bengals don't have a cart thing. I was overstimulated. I was rushing into my next my live
Your
break.
balls were cooked.
Look, have we seen the cart?
And
I know it came out.
Yes,
and like
they have a cart.
Practically speaking,
Hand up. They got me
Like-
with the
Bro, you got to at least drive it out and have them wave it off so you can at least prove that you do
have some plausible
Because
deniability.
when I got hurt, they were driving the cart out and I waved it off.
I know. I think he waved it off camera.
But that looks.
Yeah.
But next thing you know, they're gonna be, you know,
This is the Bengals cart.
yeah, that's the Bengals cart right there. That's really good.
I would have respected that even
That's
more.
like adding insult to injury, literally.
No one would it. Yo, limping off on a toe injury is adding insult to injury.
Yeah.
I feel like.
No, I would rather limp off than get carted off on that.